These lottery winners were once very lucky, but they ended up losing all their money. Their stories are like warnings, telling us that having a lot of money can be a problem if we don't use it carefully. They spent too much, made bad investments, and some even had addiction issues. Some really sad things happened to them, like losing their families or even their lives. These stories teach us that when we win the lottery, we need to be smart about how we use the money and be careful not to let it ruin our lives. In today's video, we're going to talk about some people who got really lucky by winning a lot of money. But here's the twist, they ended up having lots of problems because of it. We'll learn how they felt, happy, sad, and everything in between. And as we hear their stories, let's ask ourselves a big question. Does having a ton of money always make people happy? Or can it sometimes lead to problems? We'll follow their journeys from winning the lottery to facing tough times because they didn't handle their money well. These stories remind us that having lots of money can be tricky, and it's important to be smart about it. So come along as we explore these stories and discover important lessons about sudden wealth. Number 1. Jeffrey Dampier. Jeffrey Dampier was just an ordinary guy until he won an astonishing $20 million in the Illinois lottery back in 1996. At first, life seemed full of promise, as he and his then-wife decided to share their newfound wealth equally after a divorce. But little did he know that this sudden fortune would lead him into a complex web of family secrets and betrayal. Jeffrey moved to Tampa Bay, Florida, hoping for a fresh start with his new wife, Crystal Jackson, but it all took a tragic turn. He was responsible for managing their finances and even splurged on gifts for Crystal's family, especially her sister, Victoria, with whom he'd had an affair. Shockingly, in 2005, Jeffrey's life was cut short by his sister-in-law and her boyfriend, Nathaniel Jackson. It's a heartbreaking story filled with emotions like trust, deceit, and ultimately, a tragic loss of life, reminding us that life's twists and turns can be incredibly unpredictable, even when fortune smiles upon us. Number 2. Abraham Shakespeare. Abraham Shakespeare, a regular guy from a simple background, had a life-changing stroke of luck when he won a massive $30 million in the Florida Lotto in 2006. Instead of getting his winnings in small pieces, he decided to take it all at once and moved to a safe, quiet neighborhood. But life took a cruel turn as his newfound wealth drew in all kinds of people, some wanting to share in his fortune. Unfortunately, one of these people was his own business partner, Doris Donegan, Dee Dee Moore. She pretended to be a friend but had sinister plans in mind, leading to a heartbreaking ending for Abraham. His story reminds us that human emotions and trust can sometimes lead us down unexpected and tragic paths when it comes to money. Number 3. David Lee Edwards. David Lee Edwards' story is a stark reminder that money alone doesn't guarantee happiness. Back in 2001, he struck it rich with a whopping $27 million. You'd think with that kind of money and a financial advisor, he'd be set for life. But unfortunately, David didn't make the best choices. He went on a wild spending spree, buying fancy houses, sports cars, and even his own private plane. It all seemed grand, but things quickly turned sour. David and his wife fell into the grip of drug addiction, and their lives spiraled out of control. They not only lost their wealth, but also their health and happiness. It's a story filled with highs and lows, reminding us that the true value of life goes far beyond material possessions, and the pursuit of happiness should take a different path. Number 4. Alex and Rhoda Toth. Alex Toth and his wife Rhoda had their lives transformed when they won a whopping $13 million in the 1990 Florida lottery. It was like a dream come true, and they embraced the high life, traveling the world and rubbing shoulders with celebrities. But in the midst of all the glamour, a dark cloud loomed over them. Alex's relentless gambling habit gradually took control, and it led him down a treacherous path of reckless spending and even tax fraud. The life they had once cherished ended in turmoil, with the weight of unpaid taxes casting a shadow over them even after Alex's passing. It's a story that highlights the power of addiction and how it can unravel the most promising of loves, leaving behind a trail of regret and heartache. Number 5. William Bud Post III. William Bud Post's life took a dramatic turn after winning a staggering $16.2 million in 1998. Instead of making wise financial choices, he fell victim to financial recklessness. He spent his newfound wealth lavishly, buying businesses for his siblings and indulging in opulent luxuries for himself. However, his fortune soon became a curse rather than a blessing. In a shocking twist of fate, Bud's own brother attempted to take his life in a desperate bid to claim the money. Legal battles followed, and Bud's life spiraled out of control. His story is a tragic tale of how sudden wealth can lead to unexpected and heartbreaking consequences, teaching us that money alone cannot buy happiness, and often comes with its own set of challenges. Number 6. Michael Carroll. In 2002, Michael Carroll won a lot of money, about €9,736,131 from Scotland's Lotto. But here's the thing, he was quite young and didn't know how to handle all that money. Instead of being responsible, he started doing things that weren't good for him, like drugs and fancy cars. He also got involved in some not-so-great relationships. Because he had so much money, some bad people started bothering him, and his life became really risky. Threats and sad things happened to him. Michael's story shows us how having lots of money, especially when you're not ready for it, can lead to problems and difficulties you never expected. Number 7. James Hayes. Once, James Hayes worked as a security guard, but his life changed dramatically when he won a huge $19 million lottery in 1998. At first, he promised to be careful with his money, but he couldn't resist the temptation of a luxurious lifestyle. Within just 10 years, he had spent all his money, went bankrupt, and became addicted to drugs after back surgery. He even resorted to robbing banks, a far cry from his earlier life. As a result, he ended up in prison, where he now thinks about his difficult journey. James's story reminds us that sudden wealth can lead to unexpected and tough situations, affecting a person's life in profound ways. Number 8. Janet Leigh. Janet Leigh's story is quite unique. In 1993, she won a huge amount, $18 million in the lottery. But what makes her story stand out is what she did with the money. Instead of spending it all on herself, she chose to help others. She supported many charitable causes and even got to dine with famous world leaders. It sounds really noble, doesn't it? But here's where it gets tough. Her big heart and generosity led her to financial trouble. She ended up with a lot of debt and had to declare bankruptcy. Number 9. Billy Bob Herold Jr. Billy Bob Herold Jr.'s story is both heartbreaking and sobering. Back in 1997, when he was going through tough financial times, he hit the jackpot and won the Texas Lotto. His annual payout of $1.24 million was like a dream come true, or so it seemed. Billy Bob had a generous heart, but it proved to be his downfall. He made some bad investment choices, and a series of personal tragedies weighed heavily on him. The immense pressure and difficulties he faced eventually became too much to bear, and in 1998, he made a tragic decision to end his own life. In his darkest moments, he believed that winning the lottery was the worst thing that ever happened to him. Number 10. Jack Whitaker. Jack Whitaker's story is a powerful lesson that even if you have money, winning the lottery can bring trouble. In 2002, he won a mind-blowing $315 million, but he already had money before that. Strangely, after winning, his life went downhill. He started spending on expensive things and had to deal with robberies and very sad personal losses. His granddaughter's boyfriend and his then-granddaughter sadly passed away because of drugs, and his daughter also lost her life in 2009. Then in 2016, his house burned down with everything inside. When he passed away in 2020, he had lost all his money. And there you have it, 10 lottery winners who went from having lots of money to facing tough times. Their experiences teach us that winning big can be tricky. It's not just about the money, it's also about how you handle it. Stay tuned for more interesting insights and helpful information. And always remember, real wealth is about more than just money in the bank. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Let us know your opinions in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.